Thanks, Harold. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And please continue to enjoy your meal. Make sure you can eat the dessert. We'll make this real informal. Mr. Fletcher, thank you again for a wonderful meal tonight and for hosting us. You know, it's hard to believe it has been almost 2 years since we last gathered here to do this. We gathered in January 2 years ago, and nobody could have known what was coming down the line. Race meet got off to a great start, and then on March 11th and March 12th of 2020, I still remember the dates. I know many of you do. It's when the world basically shut down. The world shut down, but Oaklawn found a way to go on through all of that at a time when we needed entertainment more than ever. And I tell you, I have never been prouder, and I've been going to Oaklawn since I wasn't supposed to be going to Oaklawn. You know, I used to have age limits. I had a black sheep aunt that would always get me in a lot younger. But I've never been prouder of Oaklawn, but I was proud of Arkansas because if you'll remember, the Kentucky Derby moved to the fall that year. And the first Saturday in May, the biggest day in the sport of thoroughbred racing that we all love so much. And Oaklawn, right here in Arkansas, put on a spectacular day of racing that was watched by racing fans around the world. And I think that Oaklawn played a role really in saving the sport of thoroughbred racing with what they did during that pandemic and what they did on that first Saturday in May of 2020 on a day when so many others were shut down. They found a way to do it safely. They found a way to go on. And I think all of us, again, we love racing or we wouldn't be in this room tonight. We're very proud to be in Arkansas. And then since then, we have seen, wow, you saw the film, the opening of the hotel, the opening of the spa, the opening of the Bugler. I could go on and on. I do a lot of public speaking, and a sure way to get me now is to say, we're having an early morning meeting, but we'll put you up the night before in the Oaklawn Hotel. I've already gotten to stay there 3 times since June. And done a number of speaking events in the event center that for a lot of associations, conventions, statewide meetings has become the go-to place. And true to what we knew would be true to the Sella family, and with their long tradition in that family dating back to the 1800s of this great sport of thoroughbred racing, when so many others have kind of put that on the back burner and the casino is the focus of everything. If you haven't been in the rooms, if you haven't stayed there yet, first of all, you need to do so very quickly. Book a room. It makes for a great weekend. But everything revolves around racing. The art in all the rooms, the art in all the halls promotes this sport. And I think Arkansas continues now to stand as a bastion. As racing in some places goes down, we keep getting better and better in Arkansas. The purses will go up again this year. Again, one of the nicest hotels in this part of the country, now connected, looking out on that track. And I mean it even more than I did 2 years ago, because what I said 2 years ago was we like to talk about, especially when you get my age, when we get over 60, we like to talk about the good old days. For thoroughbred racing in the state of Arkansas, these are the good old days, ladies and gentlemen. These are the good old days right now. So thanks to all of you who are part of this great sport, our jockeys, our trainers, our owners, everybody at the track, everybody connected with Oaklawn, and all of you, the fans who make this great sport what it is. So I will just start with that, and I want to get to the main attraction. We've got one of the great names in the sport tonight, Brad Cox, with us. I think, Brad, it's great to have you here. I think that most of you know Nancy, but I'll give you a quick introduction. Nancy's going to interview Brad, and I'm going to eat it up so you two can go as long as you want. There's no time limit as far as I'm concerned. But I know the people running the meeting say there is, but I love this stuff, and I know what kind of questions Nancy asks. Nancy has been Oaklawn's paddock analyst since 2014, brings more than a quarter of a century of experience in thoroughbred racing to the name, where she's got a great racing name. Be sure to catch her every race day as the co-host and the reigning handicap champion at Oaklawn today. Reigning handicap champion. And starting next year, again, she'll be back with that Dawn of at Oaklawn program every Saturday morning. So Nancy's going to do the interview. I can't do Brad justice, so we've got a video on Brad, and then as soon as the video runs, we'll let you guys come up and start the interview. So I'll draw your attention to the screens again.
7-length advantage. Cowan is racing in second, but Caddo River has leveled out, and he is running strongly to the wire. It is Caddo River now double digits in front. Caddo River and the Smarty Jones straight and strong. But now, Monomoy Girl storms to the front, and suddenly, in the blink of an eye, is 3 or 3.5 in front. Finite and our Super Freak are left in the wake of one of racing's all-time greats. Yet another display of excellence. Monomoy Girl wins the Bayakoa. And Latruska, final 16th of a mile, she dares the devil. Latruska to the outside, gonna be close, she dares the devil. Latruska, she dares the devil! Jackie's Warrior has been defeated. It is Essential Quality and Spielberg 1-2 a 16th out, and Essential Quality is just too good. Essential Quality, the champion, wins the Southwest.
They're coming to the top of the stretch, and Essential Quality makes its move on the outside of Hot Rod Charlie. Rock Your World has dropped back, then Rumbauer to the outside, and Known Agenda, and they're into the stretch, and it's Essential Quality and a stubborn Hot Rod Charlie, and the two of them putting on a match race on a furlong to run. Essential Quality on the outside, Hot Rod Charlie won't go away. Essential Quality, too good. Essential Quality has won the Belmont Stakes.
On the far outside, and King Fury. They are coming for the top of the stretch in the Run Happy Travers, and it is Midnight Bourbon and Essential Quality, and now their heads apart as they head for home with the roar of the Saratoga crowd. It is Essential Quality on the outside of Midnight Bourbon. The two of them are right together inside the 8th pole. Essential Quality narrowly. Midnight Bourbon continues the battle on. They're coming down for the finish. It is Essential Quality and Midnight Bourbon. Essential Quality has won the Run Happy Travers.
Charlie on the inside is second, and then comes Medina Spirit, Art Collector, and Essential Quality into the final furlong, and it is Nick's Go. Nick's Go has a 2.5 late lead. Medina Spirit, Hot Rod Charlie, Essential Quality. Nick's Go, a superstar, wins the Breeders' Cup Classic. Medina Spirit was second, Essential Quality was third, and Hot Rod Charlie was...
Those are definitely the races that kind of give you goosebumps. So, Brad, I'm going to have you pick that up. Okay. I do want to read something real quickly. On the drive over this evening, I get a text from Brad, and he says, "Hey, Nancy, will you be at the Oaklawn Banquet tonight?" So, me being the smartass that I am, no, Paul and I are going to dinner. Brad's response, well, shit. So I had to reply, yes, I'll be at the banquet. So in honor of Brad being the Kentucky boy that he is, we're going to do a nice little shot of bourbon in the year that he has had. So mazel. Cheers, buddy. All right, I'm told Brad that I'm going to make this nice and painless. So I have for quite a while wanted to get Brad as a guest at Dawn at Oaklawn, which is Saturday mornings. But Brad is typically not available. So this is, I'm going to call it a prequel to Saturday's Dawn at Oaklawn, which I want to extend an invite to all of you if you have never been able to come out. So just a little info on Brad. He currently leads the nation in earnings with $29.5 million. Typically, trainers say, where did it go? And fourth in wins with 329. He is eligible for the Hall of Fame and Racing in 2029. So I'm just going to say early congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Is that on? Is it up?
Test.
Okay. He's very soft-spoken. Now, the Kentucky native did grow up just a stone's throw from Churchill Downs and eventually graduated with honors from Shedrow University. So even though he is a Louisville native, he's a UK fan.
That's it.
Oh, I heard a boo in the crowd. Those might be fighting words. Now, I can't help but find it funny, and it obviously was not funny at the time. Har har. But one of the best things that happened to Brad in his career was he actually got fired by an owner that he was a private trainer for. And ironically, you were winning at a 30% clip for this owner at the time. So that had to be a very scary moment when you have roughly 30 horses in your shed row and the whole barn is now empty. But little did you know that that turned out to be one of the greatest things to happen in your career.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's, at the time it was very scary, but, it obviously worked out for the best. And, I don't regret those days. I learned a lot from it. It was about a 2-year span, and, it was a great learning curve and experience, and really grew from it. It worked out really well.
And look where they are now. Nobody knows. Now, obviously, that was 9 years ago, and he is now considered what we do call in the business a super trainer, with just shy of around 200.
Yeah, it's close to 200. Yeah.
200 horses under his care. He has amassed around 1,700 wins, and that's just over 6,700 starts. I'm not a math major, but that percentage is pretty high, I'm guessing. And those starts have produced more than $107 million in earnings. That's a lot of cash.
I've always said the win pictures last longer than the money.
They do. Those bills keep rolling in. They do. They definitely do. Now, with that many horses, that definitely means they are not all stabled at one racetrack. There are multiple tracks. How many horses do you currently have at different racetracks?
Try to keep 40 to 50 at each individual track. Like Churchill, you'd have about 50. Turfway will have right now probably 35, 40, and then we kind of spread out right now. We're starting to ship into the fairgrounds. We're starting to ship into Oaklawn starting Thursday. So we're right now, this time of year, we're starting to transfer everything down south. So we're kind of spread out.
Okay, so with that many runners, how do you keep track of everybody?
A lot of help.
A lot
A lot of great assistance, really. Everyone has, each individual's normally looking after 40, 50 horses. And, once, I spend most of my mornings at Churchill this time of year. I'll go through and we'll do charts with every assistant every morning after training. And then, I do most all the entering myself. So, it's kind of like organized. It's very organized to me, but, if someone on the outside walked in, it's organized chaos.
I was going to say, it looks like organized chaos.
But it works for me. It works for me the way I have it set up.
Well, it's interesting because all of those horses each has their own condition, which means they're eligible for different races. And that's a lot to handle. So that means he's working with a lot of different condition books at different racetracks. That also means a lot of different owners and a lot of different personalities, and some owners sometimes can be little more high maintenance than others. Some you might not need to talk to all the time. How do you handle that? Do some of your assistants take on those roles, or do some owners blow up your phone like the red hotline to China?
No, most people are really good and respectful of your time. I mean, everybody that I have horses for knows that I'm busy, and they very very respectful of your time. And there's some clients that do deal with assistants, like if they know their horse is under the care of an assistant at a certain track, they'll deal with them as well. But lots of times when it comes down to racing and picking races and stuff, the owners will contact me and I'll kind of give them an idea, our plan and what we plan on doing.
Okay, I know this is not a typical day because you're not always on a stage in front of, a lot of strangers, but a typical day in the life of super trainer, future Hall of Famer Brad Cox. What does that look like? How early do you get up? What time are you at the barn? What's your life like, Brad? Because you're a husband, you're a dad, you're a super trainer. What's it look like?
Well, it starts about 4:30. Probably get to the barn 10 past 5. First set goes out about 5:25 at Churchill. And I always go back to Churchill because we're there so much. So, and that's where we currently are. I'm currently there now. So, first set goes out about 5:25, 5:30. We'll pretty much train till the track closes most mornings.
At what time?
About 10 o'clock.
Okay.
9:45. Then once again, like I talked about earlier, then I'll go through, I'll do paperwork with, lots of times I'll make entries around 10:30.
And you said you do all your entries your own, yourself.
Yeah, I do. I pretty much do all the entries wherever they are.
So a lot of times, sometimes the jockey agents will make those.
I don't trust those guys.
I don't. Thank goodness there is. I like how some of the racing officials here are like, oh, thank God. So that way, if there's a mistake, it's on you. Exactly. It's not on the agent. It's all on Brad. So after entries.
Yeah, then I'll go through and do the charts with each individual assistant. Normally, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes per assistant. So you're looking, maybe at 3. So it takes me probably an hour and a half to get the charts done. Sometimes we can fly through them. It just depends on. Lots of times weekends we have work schedules and stuff, so therefore it takes longer to go through it. But if it's kind of a normal day, I can maybe get it done in 10 to 15 minutes per assistant. But it's a solid probably an hour at least.
And your assistants, he's got amazing help assistants, and they've been with you a while, which is a testament in itself as well. But it really does seem like the last couple of years, you've kind of been really thrust into that national spotlight with some really big quality horse names in his barn. He has won the Kentucky Oaks twice, in 2018 with Monomoy Girl and 2020 with She Dares the Devil. And I don't know if you have heard, but She Dares the Devil recently went through the sales ring, and the gavel dropped at $5 million. And she will stay in training, and she is going to stay in Brad's barn, you lucky son of a gun. So that is a little bit of a new ownership group, but some of them are going to stay in. So that's got to be very exciting that she's such a talented going to be mare that she is going to continue on racing and in your barn as well.
No, it's huge. Mandy Pope stepped up and bought half interest. Qatar and State and Flurry stayed in for a leg each. And, our plans try to get her to the Apple Blossom, and maybe we'll, same path we took. She actually ran the La Troyenne last year, but she prepped in the Azeri, so that's our short-term goal for the winter and the spring, is to get her to the Apple Blossom.
Well, we can't wait to see her in the Apple Blossom potentially, but there is another very special filly, and very rarely does a horse like two-time champion Monomoy Girl come along. She did have a couple setbacks throughout her career, and she was retired this past September. She was 14 for 17 lifetime, but 10 of her victories were graded stakes wins. And I know that you specifically had a very special connection with her. And I know one of the meets, I don't think you left Fairgrounds and didn't go far from her stall, from what we were told, because she was just such a special, you had a really special bond with her. Tell us about her kind of personality, your bond with her, and how was the emotion to see her leave the barn? And I'm sure you're excited to see her with her babies eventually.
Yeah, she was a tricky horse to train. She really was. You had to watch her. She would definitely let you know when things weren't right or when she was doing well, or so she really kind of had to keep an eye on her. But she's very special, very different. She's very, very different.
In what way?
I guess the one thing, she was she never seemed to be like taxed, never like stressed. Like after her races, I mean, it was almost like she was cooled out when we were taking the wind picture.
So it's almost like it's almost like when he says that, it's almost like she couldn't blow out a candle. That type of thing.
I mean, she just her talent. It was amazing, and we noticed it working. Like when she started breezing, not so much early on, but after she became a good horse. And then I'm gonna be straight up with you. I mean, we never thought she was as good as she was in the beginning. She was very slow to come out of the gate. Ran her on the turf because she was slow out of the gate. I ran her on the turf a couple times, and then we transferred her to the dirt in her third start, and she took off. It was like, wow, this is a good filly. And then her fourth start, she ran a really good race, but she got beat, and she was just kind of messing around down the lane, the goldenrod. And I think the jock kind of maybe Florent kind of got into her a little too much, and she didn't like it. She really didn't like being hit. So she was a real quirky filly. So, but overall, I mean, she was very different in a lot of ways. I mean, and it's funny because I saw a lot of those qualities in Essential Quality too. With just how they would breeze, and they would work heads up with another horse, and they may always look like the horse on the inside was as good, but you get back to the barn, the other horses, just drinks a bucket and a half of water, tacks, blowing hard. The other one's not even looking at her water bucket, walks around like she did nothing. And Essential Quality was a lot like that as well.
Very interesting. So we're going to go ahead and segue to Breeders' Cup. Monomoy Girl actually gave Brad his very first Breeders' Cup victory in the Distaff in 2018. He doubled those Breeders' Cup wins in 2019. But in his backyard at Keeneland in 2020, he put on a clinic and had 4 wins. How surreal was that weekend? Because I can remember the camera being on you and your crew and just hooting, hollering, doing the Arsenio Hall thing, and it was just to have that in your backyard.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing weekend. I mean, obviously, I believe we won 2 on Friday and 2 on Saturday, but I look back and the horses were doing well. They I think 3 of them were favored and 1 was second choice. I think Essential Quality was the second choice. The other 3 were favored. So, they stepped up and they run the races. And, it's a big weekend. I think we ran 8 horses total in the Breeders' Cup. So, overall it was a fantastic weekend, one we'll never forget. And it was huge. It was an amazing couple days.
And by the way, later that year at the Eclipse Awards, probably because of those 4 Breeders' Cup wins, he won the Eclipse Award for Champion Trainer that year as well. It might have been because of those 4 Breeders' Cup wins. It's just a guess. So this year, he really didn't do that bad either, as you saw in the video. It was the Breeders' Cup Classic. It was just $6 million for the purse. Just some chump change. Nick's Go was the victor. Thank you, because I had him singled. And he had another horse in his barn also run 3rd, and that was Essential Quality. Not a bad day for the Cox barn, where the surf meets the turf. How was that?
That was amazing. Delmar's a great host for the Breeders' Cup, and it worked out well. Juju's Map was second as well. So, it was a good weekend. We thought she had a big shot of winning, but she ran into a monster in the against a monster in the juvenile fillies, I should say. So, but overall, it was a good weekend. Nick's Go got things the way he needed up front, and he responded well. And he's a horse that's just continuing to get better. And he actually started here at Oaklawn with us. He won a 2 other than in our first run with him, and then he had a little bit of a setback after that race, and then he's returned and he's hopefully a horse of the year.
So, is there a secret to your success? Is it feed? Is it magic carrots? Do you douse them with holy water? I mean, what?
Yeah.
Seriously, what's the deal?
I mean, it's good horses. It's great help, great clients, and great horses. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, simple thing with Nick's Go. I mean, he's always been a good horse. He was a Grade 1 winner, and I've always said one of his most impressive races was his Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland at 2. And obviously, I didn't have him at the time, but he's always been a good horse. We took him into I guess it was the end of his 3-year-old season, early 4-year-old season, and June Park runs the Korean Racing Authority, and I just told him, I said, look, if you give me the horse to train, I'm going to train him, and it's going to be my way, or you can pick him up, and it's basically it's
I'm Brad Cox, super trainer.
That's well, I wanted to manage the horse, and,
right,
and I felt like we did a good job managing. We weren't just throwing him in stakes where he didn't belong in the beginning, and he didn't. He needed to be managed right, get his confidence right, and he's responded well.
And you know how to read a condition book really well.
It helps.
That helps. And Jack Van Berg used to say, Nancy, you know why I'm winning more races? I said, why is that, Jack? Because I'm feeding faster horses.
Yeah,
I said,
very
well,
true.
That's
very
a good
true.
thing. Now, just out of curiosity, when you do get a new horse, because I'm sure people call you all the time, hey, I've got this horse, or I've claimed this horse, or I bought this horse at a sale, I want you to train him. What do you do when a new horse does come into your barn? How do you analyze them? What do you do to potentially assess their potential?
I guess it depends if it's a young horse or a horse that's been running. But I think the first thing you got to look for is soundness, just how they're moving, and then obviously train them, kind of see how they move, and just and you'll find horses that still perform well that just may not be the most graceful moving horses. But obviously soundness plays a big role in it, and how they're doing, how they physically look, how their coats look, plays a big role in it, and numbers. I mean, you look, if you get a new horse in the barn that's run a few times, you may pull some sheets on them, buyers or whatever.
Now explain that for people that might not be familiar.
Well, there's
with
several different numbers. Everybody uses different numbers, or some people use a Ragusan, Thorograph, buyers. There's all kinds of numbers you can use. But, you get a baseline on a horse. You kind of want to figure out where their level is, and you try to place them. Try to have them fit, happy, and healthy, and put them in the right spot. And, it normally leads to, hopefully, an effort of, in a race of being 1, 2, 3. That's the goal.
Like, just out of curiosity, when you enter your horses and when the entries come out, do you consider yourself a good handicapper?
Well, I'm terrible at betting, so I don't know.
All right, I won't be asking
I don't
Brad
know. I don't
for any
know.
touts
I don't
this
know.
year. So,
but no, I think I can. I got a feel for watching horse. I feel like trainers that they get a feel for the stock they have, watching them train. And obviously breeze day, evaluating their breeze, and taking all of that in, and then obviously looking at their past performance, or if they're maiden on where they should start, and that's basically what it comes down to.
okay. Now, I would ask you, what's on your racing bucket list? But I would say that you're probably going to make racing history by becoming the first 7-year-old to win the Kentucky Derby when Mandaloun probably finally gets put up after Medina Spirit's case is finally over with. But is there something that is... Did everybody get that? Because of the Kentucky Derby? Okay. Is there anything going on with that you can discuss?
No, but I'll tell you a funny joke. A guy
No.
a guy from Juddmonte had texted me. A guy that works on the farm had texted me after a couple weeks after the Derby. Said, "Congratulations, you're the first trainer to ever run 1, 2, 3, and 4th in the Kentucky Derby with 2 horses." So that was pretty good.
That is pretty good. But for real, is there?
I have no idea what's going on with that.
Maybe go to Ascot.
Oh, I thought you meant the Kentucky Derby. That I mean, I don't know about Ascot. It would be. I mean, I guess we had a shot last year with a filly named Aunt Pearl. She just wasn't doing things quite the way we liked and didn't take a chance. But that'd be interesting. I think Dubai would be interesting.
Ooh.
And we had Nick's Go. Obviously, he was 4th in the Saudi Cup last year. I didn't get to go because of COVID, but it would be something I'd be interested in maybe looking. If we were to go back, maybe take a trip. I think that'd be
I heard they
interesting.
really put out
Yeah, I
roll
think
out
they
the
take
red
care
carpet.
of you.
So
Oh
You
yeah,
need-
both
you need
both
a,
Saudi,
you need a
Saudi and
publicist
Dubai.
or something to go over. You know, just yeah. I wanted to play a little game. Are you down?
Let's go.
Need another shot?
Probably.
Okay. Who was the first horse you saddled as a trainer?
One Lucky Storm.
Ooh. Do you remember any
She ran
details?
third. Open 10. I'd enter her in a 15 non-3. Ended up having to run her in an open 10. And Steve asked me someone to race, and we were on the lead. Jose Martinez rode the horse, maybe? Jose Martinez Jr.
Holy crap. That was November 20th.
That horse came back and won like 2 weeks later with Joe Johnson.
In
a
his
30
second start.
Yeah.
You would
December 4th.
December.
Turfway.
That is impressive. What's your wife's middle name?
Blair.
He knows it. That's impressive too. Yeah, jockey Joe Johnson rode the horse. Man, the rest of these are too easy. What horse gave you your first graded stakes win?
Carve. 2014. Right?
What race?
Oh, Cornhusker.
Okay, grade
Prairie
3
Meadows.
Cornhusker at Prairie Meadows. Who gave you your first grade 1 win?
Monomoy Girl.
Monomoy Girl. Race?
Ashley Keeneland.
2018. Bonus points. Where did she break her maiden?
Indiana Grand.
Ding, 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 ding.
Mile on the turf.
Mile on the turf. Who knew? Going up, yep, on September. What date?
I don't remember.
Oh, the
I was
5th!
I was driving. I was somewhere in Pennsylvania. I was driving home from Saratoga.
What's the best advice that you have ever received in regards to life on the racetrack? Because you had some
Don't
really
believe
good
anything
mentors.
you hear and only half of what you see.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. And what's the worst advice you've ever gotten? 'Cause I've gotten some really
Yeah,
bad
that's-
advice.
I don't remember it. That's why it was so bad I didn't
We just
remember it. I blocked
mixed
it out.
Okay, I love the fact that your boys have really gotten into the family business.
Yeah, for sure. Blake, he's my 20-year-old. He's a pretty polished horse person. I really think he's got a bright future. He's very involved and is I think someday he'll train. I don't know when. Hope it's a few years away, but I think he gets the itch sometimes. But he's got some years to go. But he's pretty good boy. I mean he went to Saudi last year for three weeks. I mean he's traveled pretty much around the world with horses, and he's got a bright future. He really, really does.
That's very impressive. And I know that's got to be heartwarming to see your son coming up.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he'll probably put me out of business someday, but that's okay. No, he's a good horseman. He really.
Now,
good
just
bright future.
between you and me, just pretend nobody else is in the room. Who are some of the Oaklawn runners coming up that we might be able to keep an eye out for? Because I need to.
Well, we got a new stake schedule. With obviously, the meet starting earlier, so I think we have a filly, Marion Francis. I'm going to run in the what's the name of the race, Pat? Not the Advents, the 2-year-old boys. Yeah, Mistletoe. Sorry, Mistletoe, and then the
Do I have to kiss somebody in the winter circle?
and then there's also there's also the Tinsel. That's a newly created race. I think it's 200,000 a mile. And we're Point Warriors charged for that. So we hopefully be have some action in the stake schedule in December.
Any horses that really stand out to you, feel free that you can pop me a text. Your assistant Georgie can pop me a text because I'm pretty competitive on the Oaklawn Today
that's
show.
Right, that's right, and you're very good.
Well, thank you. But there's going to be another contest coming up, and I would like to stay the remaining champion.
There you go.
So, right here.
You got it.
I got you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, future Hall of Fame trainer, Brad Cox.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank y'all. You know, the backside of a racetrack is a city unto itself. I'm talking to a room of insiders, so I don't really have to tell you that. But when I talk to people that don't know racing as well, I sometimes explain it that way. All of the people who live there, it tends to get up a little earlier than most cities and get started earlier than most cities, middle of the night, so to speak. And many decades ago, when I was sports writing full time, I'm not an early morning person, but it was my favorite time at the track to go over at daylight and talk to the trainers and talk to the jockeys and watch the workouts and get your quotes and then get a big breakfast at the track kitchen, of course, had to be part of it. But the backside is a city, and a city needs a church. Rich Heffington, I've had the honor tonight to have dinner over at this table with he and his wife. He's a blacksmith by trade, a native of California. He's been Oaklawn's chaplain for more than 10 years and is one of the most beloved faces at the track. Along with his wife, he ministers to not only the people on the backstretch, but to everyone associated with the track. The Oaklawn Chapel holds a weekly church service every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Already with this early start this year, a lot of people there. You told me you had 60 people last night, right, for the Tuesday night service at 6 p.m. There's a Spanish service also. They provide clothes. They provide prescription drugs. They provide drug and alcohol guidance to people. There's a men's Bible study. His wife leads a ladies' Bible study, probably unlike anything at any other track in the country. And they're currently preparing for the annual Christmas party where they will provide dinner and presents to almost 400 stable employees, because Oaklawn is going to be their home at Christmas. They will provide it to those stable employees, to their families, to their children, in partnership with the HBPA. And so we're doing a second annual award named after the great Jack Van Berg, and Kathleen Fitzpatrick is going to present that award now to Rich Heffington. Rich, if you will come on up now. Thank you. Let's give them a big hand. Oh, okay. Yeah, get your wife up here too. Say a couple words.
To say this is humbling, that's an understatement. God bless America, God bless Oaklawn, and God bless y'all. But on the medication, that's all HPBA. We don't do none of that. Okay, and thank God for HPBA. But Oaklawn is the greatest racetrack in the United States of America. And the chaplaincy that we get to do there, Rob and my wife and I both, we're always saying, we can't believe God lets us do this. So God bless Oaklawn management. And John wants me to talk about 30 minutes, Hopkins, and I told him I can't do that. he knows, okay, you can get me later. But guys, this means so much. You have no idea. I got a phone call the other day, and there was somebody he mentioned earlier, a very good friend, that wanted me to be sure and tell every one of you he loves you. And thank you very much, and thank God you're here, and that's Mark Schlesinger. Okay. Thank you. John, you owe me $25.
Thank you for all you do. This is Arkansas, so can I have an amen? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.